Hi viewers, let's start the other amazing story.
The observation deck of the Stellar Harmony hummed with the gentle vibration of FTL engines, but Mara Ellison barely noticed. She stood at the panoramic window, her reflection ghostly against the star-streaked void, one hand pressed against her ribs, where the bruises bloomed purple beneath her uniform. "I'm fine," she had told Commander Vector when he'd asked about her limp. The Zenthari officer had simply nodded, his crystalline eyes reflecting concern he didn't voice. But Mara knew the truth. She wasn't fine. She was broken in ways that wouldn't show on any medical scanner. Behind her, two small figures emerged from the ventilation shaft with practiced silence. Rexel and Nexa, the Felixian cubs who'd somehow stowed away on the ship 3 months ago, had made Mara their unofficial guardian. The diplomatic vessel housed representatives from 47 species, but the cubs had chosen the human. Something about her, they'd said in their broken galactic common, made them feel safe. Rexel's ear tufts twitched as he caught Mara's scent, the sharp tang of pain suppressors mixed with something acrid. Fear. His sister Nexa's pupils dilated to black pools, her whiskers trembling. "Mara friend hurts," Rexel whispered in his native tongue, a language of chirps and growls that Mara had learned to understand through their neural translation implants. Nexa pressed her small, furred body against her brother's. "The smell, it's the same as yesterday, and the day before." The cubs had noticed what the adults had not. Mara's forced smiles, the way she flinched when certain crew members entered a room. How she'd stopped eating in the common mess hall, preferring to take rations alone in her quarters. Rexil's claws extended involuntarily, a Felixian's instinctive response to a threatened packmate. "We track?" Nexa's golden eyes narrowed with determination beyond her 6 standard years. "We track." The investigation began as only young Felixians could conduct it, through observation, scent tracking, and an uncanny ability to move through spaces no one else noticed. Their species had evolved as apex predators on Felixa Prime, where patience and precision meant survival. They watched Mara through the ship's extensive ductwork, noting when she tensed, when she changed routes through the corridors, when her breathing quickened. They cataloged every interaction, every glance, every moment of fear. It took them 3 days to identify the pattern. Lieutenant Marcus Reeves, human like Mara. Security detail, authorized to carry plasma weapons. He would corner her in empty corridors, his voice too low for security sensors to pick up. The cubs couldn't hear the words, but they understood body language. The way he blocked her exits, how his hand would shoot out to grab her arm, his fingers pressing into the same spots where bruises already existed. Nexa had wanted to strike immediately, to sink her developing fangs into the man's throat. But Rexel held her back with wisdom inherited from generations of pack hunters. "Humans have laws," he reminded her. "We need, what's the word? Evidence." "Proof," Nexa corrected, her tail lashing. "But how? The security feeds don't show sound in those corridors. And Mara friend won't tell." Rexil's whiskers twitched in what might have been a smile. "Then we make him tell." The trap was elegantly simple. The cubs knew that Reeves followed a routine, checking remote storage bays on the lower decks where few crew ventured. They also knew that Felixians, despite their small size, could manipulate most standard ship interfaces. Their paw pads were sensitive enough to mimic humanoid fingerprints when needed. They rewired the storage bay door to lock from the inside. They disabled the internal communications panel, and they waited. When Reeves entered Bay 7 Delta, muttering about inventory checks, he found two small forms sitting in the center of the empty room. In the dim emergency lighting, their eyes reflected like twin sets of gold coins. "What the?" Reeves reached for his plasma pistol, but the weapon was already gone, hidden in the ventilation shaft above. "How did you rats get in here?" Rexil stood slowly, his juvenile frame barely reaching Reeves's knee. But something in his posture, the set of his shoulders, the angle of his ears, spoke of ancient predatory lineage. "We know," the cub said, in perfect galactic common, his translator rendering the words with chilling clarity. "What you did to Mara friend." Reeves laughed, but it was hollow. "The woman? She's fine. She said so herself." "She lied," Nexa growled, circling to Reeves's left. "Humans lie when they're scared. when they've been hurt by someone stronger, someone who abuses authority. The lieutenant's face darkened. Listen, you little... No. Rexel's voice carried surprising authority. You listen. On Felixa Prime, there is a law, Keshawara. The protection of pack. When one hurts another who cannot defend themselves, the pack delivers justice. Reeves backed toward the door, finding it sealed. You can't do anything to me. I'm a licensed officer. You're just... Recording every word, Nexa finished, pointing with one small paw to the modified security panel. The red indicator light blinked steadily. This bay, full sensor suite, audio, visual, biometric stress analysis. Rexel's ears flattened against his skull. Tell them what you did. Tell them why Mara Friend has bruises shaped like fingers. Why she whispers, I'm fine, when she's breaking. The color drained from Reeves's face. This is entrapment. It won't hold up. In human court? Perhaps. Nexa's tail swished slowly. But this is a diplomatic vessel. The Zenthari judge violations of harm with mind scans. The Quellians have empathic witnesses. And the Felixian delegation. Her eyes glowed brighter. We recognize pack law above all. For the first time, Reeves seemed to truly see the cubs, not as harmless strays, but as apex predators, wearing the guise of something cute, something manageable. I didn't mean to hurt her, he stammered. She reminded me of... Confess fully or face pack justice, Rexel interrupted. Choose now. Commander Vector reviewed the recording 3 times, his crystalline features hardening with each replay. Lieutenant Reeves sat in the brig, having given a full confession once the Cubs had released him from Storage Bay 7 Delta. His voice, captured in perfect clarity, detailed months of harassment, intimidation, and assault. Mara sat in the commander's office, tears streaming down her face, but for the first time in months they were tears of relief. I'm sorry, she whispered. I should have reported him. I should have... You survived, Vector said gently. That took strength. He paused, his translator rendering the next words with peculiar warmth. Though I must admit, your guardians are... formidable. Through the office window, Rexel and Nexa sat on a ventilation grate, grooming each other's ears. They looked like nothing more than adorable, oversized kittens. Mara laughed, actually laughed, for the first time in weeks. There's something special. Indeed. Vector accessed his console. The Galactic Council has requested a formal statement. They're particularly interested in how 2 juvenile Felixians managed to extract a confession that 17 security professionals missed the signs of abuse. Nexa's ears perked up at the distant sound of Mara's laughter. She chirped softly to her brother. Mara Friend sounds happy. Rexel bumped his head against hers affectionately. Pack protects pack. It's the oldest law. Think the humans will understand? Eventually. Rexel's whiskers twitched. They're clever. For a species without tails. They just forget sometimes that strength isn't always about size or weapons.